Guess it'll just be finishing up Durin's story quest right now. I think that'll be all. Shouldn't take all that long. So, oh, guess who needs to refresh that? Me, probably. Okay. Well, regardless. Hey, a letter from the Knights of Ronia. Sounds like Albedo is back. It's waiting for us on Dragonspine. Solution of Fate. No time to waste. Let's get going. And following the clues from the previous chapter, you head to Dragonspine to find Albedo. It seems the mysteries around Durin are about to be revealed, but the trials prepared by fate are waiting for you as well. Interesting. Well, so let's send those through. Okay. Had to check a couple of things. Okay, it works. Can go over and yeah. This will all go to, presumably, Ilaga books. And it's just right by his workshop. Okay. So this is the other Durin, huh? The original. Yeah, because he hasn't been here, has he? This had been the kind of dragon that ended up being revived in Mondstadt. There's no telling what kind of calamity the people would have had to endure. So if you think about it like that, Durin's actually a hero, a great hero, Daeyu. I just thought he'd be nice all of a sudden. I'm just a little envious, that's all. Not everyone gets a chance to be a hero. Does that mean he's going to end up preventing some kind of... the return of his Fatui form or something? Maybe. Actually, most of the credit belongs to Albedo, who just showed up. And we are currently overlooking some parts of Wheelway. That's just Stonegate, right? The one mountain on Stonegate. Then again, barely anyone even remembers you at this point, so I guess there's not much to envy. That's him again. You were better as a cat. You, who am I? Oh, so you three still remember Durin and... oh look, random cryo-samatrol over there. Looks like the memory loss hasn't spread too close friends yet. I guess that means my memory of you must still be complete as well. Albedo. You're finally here, but do we have a whole pile of questions for you? Oh, you're here too. Uh-oh. I think I've pieced together some of what happened to him, but what's your take on things? The world is correcting the record. It's not supposed to exist. Jin filled me in on what happened, and I've got a few theories, but let's get on the same page first. Oh, okay, you exchange intel with Albedo, which also checks how Durin is holding up. Well, physically he's doing fine, his body is holding the Abyssal power at bay. There's nothing whatsoever to indicate any risk of collapse. Every time they say that, the Japanese word they use is Hokai, which is just the equivalent of Honkai, which is still quite funny. Skirk says that in her character trailer. To be fair, given how much she looks like a Honkai character, it is not coincidental, I imagine. So from an alchemy point of view, there's nothing wrong with him. The issue isn't so much that the abyssal power within him has gotten out of control, it's that the connection between his will and body is fading. If he ends up losing his conscious will, his body will fall back on its biological instincts, so the abyssal power within it will take over. If that happens... This book mentioned a witches' gathering. It seems like quite a few of these witches got themselves... Hello, how are you doing? Well, then Durin's case, which brings me to my theory. I'm just finishing this story quest today. It's segmented into 5 portions, and only about as long as a normal story quest, maybe even shorter past that, so this won't take all that long. I'm a little sleepy, so bringing Fairy Tale Durin into this, yeah, that's winner. In this world, replace the Durin on Dragonspine. It means using one Durin's fate to overwrite the others. Some of the chocolate, maybe. The power of alchemy alone would not be enough to pull off such a feat. I will always advocate against playing map games. You know how I am. Have you beaten Cyberpunk yet? One of my boys really got into Cyberpunk. The one I played Minecraft with that time back, especially after it got updated, would have required the combined use of Miss Barbelot's astrology, my teacher's alchemy, and Alice's magic. Okay. Is it modded at all? I know, because a lot of people say that given everything that happens in the show that was made, Atom Smasher being kind of overwhelming in the game itself is a bit silly. I know some people have modded the game. Well, there have been mods created specifically to make that encounter stronger and more difficult. Okay, understandable. So we had the original transformation to human with, well, transformation to the baby dragon with Alice. It was a Simulanka portion, and then the Barbeloth portion, which was him learning about the prophecy, which was something that happened off-screen between Simulanka and Paralogism. So this is the first we're learning of that. I did! And it very much is a fell for it again award kind of thing. Because it's just, you know, Americans talking about how they're going to get cheaper gas. It's like, you are not going to get cheaper gas. ExxonMobil might have a better profit margin on selling gas, but you are not going to see hide nor hair. And you're just going to, you're going to pay for the country's reconstruction with taxes if the regime change is even successful. It's, I mean, barring any question of whether the intention is a good one, which is a different debate, the supposed outcome is not even going to happen. Well, there are basically no treaties that actually work like that. There was one, I forget who it was specifically, let me see. Hello. I forget who it was specifically, but there was one specific, okay. I'm too tired anyway. Can I scream Bala instead? Sorry about your bollock. Okay, let me see. Was it France or it might have been Norway, I don't know. There was one country that actually fell for it and sent a bunch of, was it in Rwanda? When peacekeepers from, well, Belgium and Canada were big sources of troops for the attempt at, you know, in the Rwandan genocide. Originally, there was meant to be UN involvement to stop it, and then a bunch of Western UN peacekeepers got killed, and this was deliberate from the, you know, Hutu power types. They wanted it to be televised so that the people sending the soldiers would lose taste for it and withdraw so they could continue massacring Tutsis. But UN security guarantees don't mean much. You know, security guarantees don't mean much. For better or worse. Yeah, so we saw the Alice portion where Toy Durin turned into smaller Chibi Durin, and then the Barbeloth part with the prophecy, so this is going to be Gold's alchemy and Sage Witch. The Merry Witch, the Seer Witch, and the Sage Witch, and the Tricksy Witch for Ivanovna, and the Wander Witch for Octavia, Story Witch for Andersdottir, and Memory Witch for Nicole. They all got names in this one. Well, additional titles. After warning of Miss Barboleth's prophecy, Durin and I finally came up with a way to settle the Dragonspine Durin problem for good. And I took care of the alchemy side of things, which, looking back on it, seems to have been a part of their plan all along. It is still funny how Albedo just looks like a weird little doll now. Because of how old his model is, like a little bambola. Well, probably because a lot of it is just already there. You know, there's no point in adding what already is there. So now there's only one thing missing, the magic, right? As for the fate theory, our friend in the hat just mentioned, Kasachi. In the Japanese, they just said Kasachi, which is the Japanese equivalent of hat guy. Still can't figure out how any kind of magic could possibly influence the fate of Teyvat. I'm certain that the answer lies within this book. So the reason Ellis had us complete this book was to make that magic possible. Okay. Welcome. Stay safe, Bola. A form of magic powerful enough to rewrite fate itself. But fate's a different game. Well, we've no time to lose, I just need to take a look at the book. The next part of the story most likely relates to me, so the memory that unlocks it must be connected to me too. I saw that, and I responded about that. I got the last laugh. Well, I think a bit of that was probably contrarianism, because people weren't unhappy with the Game Award results. I will say that there is, and I don't mean it in a sense of bad at games, well, that's part of it, but there's a big difference between, you know, game journalists, game industry types, and people who play games in terms of what games they like. You know, it's... I think you've heard me refer to the term Jeff Slot before, but there is, in this sort of industry movers and shakers, a lot of disdain for 2D graphics. Yeah, I didn't think you did, but you know what I mean. Huh. The giant tree was home to a broken branch, the shape of its splintered arm, lining perfectly with the branch that had burst forth from the castle walls. And of course, the broken branch being the dead Durin. So again, the branch Durin, Fairy Tale Durin, is grafted onto the Abyss Durin tree. Really? What game do you think was going to win? Arc Raiders or something? I think it's a little difficult to say that in the context of a PvP game, because that's conditional on other players' skill mostly, rather than inherent difficulty. Join yourself to that broken bough, for there you may take root at last, and henceforth bask in the sun and rain of the world beyond the castle. But first fetch the stickiest clay and let it bind the scar of the break. Well, Night Rain... Well, it's like best game that you suck at. And Night Rain is fun, but it is kind of the Souls-like equivalent of an asset flip, because it's mostly reusing already existent content in bosses from Elden Ring and a few previous Souls games. And I enjoyed it. I'd like to go back and play more of it, because I did pre-purchase the DLC and haven't had a chance to touch anything past that. Well, because... like I said, I don't think it's fair to put that in the context of a PvP multiplayer game, because difficulty there is based on really other players' skill and the liveliness of the competitive scene. Though I guess you could say that games with high execution barrier could maybe fall into it, like a fighting game, but fighting games are inherently niche, or maybe a rhythm game, which is even more niche. Yeah, I see. Soka. In a couple weeks, week and a half, it's Bina. Stitchius claim let it bind the scar of the break, which also solution bestowed by the Sage Witch, so yeah. Randottir. Guided by the breeze, Little Dragon arrived at an alchemist's workshop. There he was greeted by a clay figure, a child molded by the Sage, which is the Enos of the clay refers to Albedo. He is gentle, though gentle in appearance, he had inherited his mother's cold, sharp wisdom. So the clay mending the break is about Albedo being the tool by which old and new Durin are connected, determined to avert the cloud the evil dragon would bring, so it's his helper, none other than the little dragon himself. Where Winds Meet seems interesting, but again, I just don't have time to play a second live service game. I don't even really have time for one. But, yeah, Path of Exile 2 being hard. You could... I just remember it's... A certain tech billionaire played tried to stream Path of Exile 2, and the chat both in and out of game was just flaming him constantly. And someone pretended to be specifically Ashley St. Clair, and, you know, saying, please pay your child support, please pay your child support. And it... let me see this here. I genuinely don't know enough about Arc Raiders to say that one way or another. I guess in the sense of PvP VE, potentially. But it's not as if extraction shooters don't already exist. Makes me wonder what Dustblood... Yeah, exactly. What Dustbloods is going to be like. Because that's the Switch 2 only, so it's good that I have my, you know, my deluxe cuck box. Got it launch day. Which is the sort of pseudo-Bloodborne successor. Oh, nice. Welcome back, boy. Which may have a sort of PvP VE focus. So I'm excited for that, because it is supposed to come out this year. That's right, it is 2026. Oh, it... Dukov? Is that like Tarkov? Oh, okay, it's a duck-themed Tarkov parody. Oh, that's... Top-down PvE extraction shooter. Okay, I like top-down shooters a lot. Kind of close to a shoot-'em-up. Oh, wow. Like, English or Italian swears? Did you say, like, Porco Dio or something? He's in JoJo, you know. Dio. And here we are, and oh, it's a giant alchemy table. We're small. What is this place? What's that? Tammy. Tammy from Undertale. Yeah, it looks like it's modeled after an alchemist's workshop, or rather a cliched stereotype of one. To be fair, it's not as if his is much different. We've shrunk. This is probably maybe referring to the fact that we shrunk down onto the chessboard at the end of Paralogism. Oh, wow. What does that translate to? Oh. Poop house. Oh. I guess you are the Bolliger now, so you would have that authority, right? Maybe. Albedo. Did he turn into a clay doll or something? Hold on, why do I look at these? Oh, the clay figure in the story. So they made Cat Scara, and they made Toy Soldier Albedo, like in Simulanka. That's fun. They really need to make these into teapot furniture or something. Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you, basically the characters in the story are reflections of how Durin sees them. At least you're still human-shaped, and it's Cat Scara again. Have you seen the actual official Catskara model yet? Since Cat Guy has taken on a different appearance too, that must mean the two of us are both characters in this story. Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that work was bad. Let me see what... In the Japanese, they did not make any kind of Cat Guy pun, for better or worse. But you, Paimon, and Durin haven't changed at all. They must be special figures in some way. Special existences. I'd like to know more about that too, but seeing as none of them can explain it, let's just concentrate on moving the plot forward. Let's take a look around. Story. Okay. Well, going around. Again, it's fun that they modeled an actual 3D Catskara and to a lesser extent Toy Soldier Albedo this story quest, but as far as we know, those models aren't getting reused past it, which shows the effort put in, but it still feels a bit of a waste. Is that a hidden path? Just like that, the group stumbled upon a hidden passageway, intricately crafted, seemed to lead them towards another exciting chapter of the tale. Guys, this is the Kiln of the First Flame from Dark Souls 1. Come on, what are we waiting for? Next chapter, here we... Ouch! Couldn't get through. But this was a chapter that had not yet been written. Ahead of them was a storyless void. They could go no further. We need to collect 4 Lord Souls. What? Then what's the point of having a path here? Maybe the author had a flash of inspiration, and then their mind went blank. It seems like you're asking permission to order food because you don't want to cook. Just order the food. Sounds like a pretty bad habit for a writer. Oh, over here I found something. A big heart. It's Star Dream Soul OS from Kirby Planet Robobot. Well, you can... Would it help you deal with the horrible day at work if you ordered food? I don't know, you could order some ramen or something? I don't know. Okay. Enter. Storyless void. The heart. Ah, okay. Get another bad ending. Bad ball ending. Well, getting more sleep would probably help more in the end. The clay figure found was none other than the evil dragon's heart itself. And the creature had perished long ago, its heart was still there, pulsing away and growing warmer with every beat. Again, that's the heart on Dragonspine. And the clay alchemist knew what it meant, that the evil dragon would return one day, just as the prophecy is foretold. Well, would he prefer to be lying in bed? You know better than us. Yet guided by his mother's wisdom, he foresaw another fate. If only the alchemist could bestow this heart upon the evil dragon, he might be reborn in the evil dragon's stead. Well, then eat the food he already made. Seems pretty open and shut. Only then would the evil dragon's heart grow still, and the little one inherit its tail. It's bopping up and down still. Sounds like this chapter is about Albedo bringing me to life. Bring me to life. That really was the solution, though. This would have been over the minute I finished the transmutation. So why is Durin still being forgotten? There has to be some other reason. There are still places we can check. We have to... Oh, so it's just canned food. SpaghettiOs? Chef Boyardee? Yeah, I'd like to explore the area a bit more. Okay. Decide what to do next. Fuse with the heart of the evil dragon. Destroy the heart of the evil dragon. The evil dragon kept moving. Eventually, he would be forgotten. There are the gray stairs and golden stairs. Ahead of them was a storyless void, and they could go no further. All these books. What, the small couscous or the fat couscous? Golden stairs. If we go this way, we'll be returning to the castle, which is not where we want to go. That's Simulanka. Returning to the castle, there's nothing challenging for you back there. I'm stuck in one place. The bad ending dialogue from last time. Yeah, I'll just be hiding from your problems and pretending like none of this ever happened. Is this really what you want, Durin? There are two kinds of couscous. There's the small grain-like couscous and the larger pearl couscous. There are other names for it too, that I won't repeat. I see. And we can't do that again. Oh wait, we can actually go further. Well, very slightly further. Golden stairs. It's pretty. Alchemy lab inside this here. It's Albedo. That's the better kind, but for what it's worth. I am not particularly fond of pearl couscous. Destroy the heart of the evil dragon. Do you think we could just destroy it? Why would you want to do that? Be it the calamity headed for Mondstadt, my inability to leave behind a story of my own, so it all come down to the fact that this heart never truly died. What if here in this story we could finally destroy it? And it's that sword. How did he get that sword anyway? It's also from his storybook, but not his story. Could Aunt Alice's magic really last to what's theoretically meant to be impossible? Hag Day? Your birthday is January 6th? I'm surprised you would reveal it that easy. Just kidding. Let me see. Oh no, that's literally only in Italy. That is only Italy. We do have Epiphany, but it's not really a thing. I mean, we don't have Boxing Day either. That's more Canadian. Atheist Christmas. Either way, it's an intriguing idea. I'm not opposed to giving it a shot. Durin. It's just... Sigh, I'm still afraid someday even you guys will end up forgetting me. If there's even the slightest chance it'll prevent that, I'm willing to try anything. Angry cat. For a second, I thought that said candles. I'm not sure if I can destroy it on my own. Chances are I'm gonna need your help again. Mina. So please, everyone, help me destroy this heart once and for all. That's cute. Ready when you are, let's take another look around first. Let's see. I'm gonna repeat the whole sequence. So please, everyone, help me destroy this heart once and for all. Ready when you are. You would think Ferrero would have the candies, not the stocking. Prophecy is destined to come true. With the help of his friends, the little dragon destroyed the evil dragon's heart, using up every last ounce of his strength. Then he disappeared forever. Oops. In his eyes, this would ensure that his story and his alone remain in the world beyond the castle's walls. But again, there was only one spot for one Durin, and now there's no spot for any Durin, so he disappeared anyway. Oh, okay. The evil dragon's heart was like a great tree with roots digging deep beneath the surface. Cutting off the branches did not kill it, no, it just made it impossible for a new branch to take their place. It's all milk chocolate? So does she not have chocolate candies or just 100% dark? I'm surprised they're lactose intolerant Italians. That is sad. Oh. White confetti or ticker tape. We're throwing flowers at the stage. Okay. No Balakolet. The gnarled roots retreated back into the frozen earth, biding their time for a chance to bud again. Cut off from their source, the rootless branches above the surface slowly withered away. I mean, there's a difference between actively religious and culturally Catholic / culturally Christian. I mean, there are people in plenty of countries, especially Western countries, who will still celebrate holidays without necessarily being actively religious. I mean, you don't have to be... I mean, even people of other religions. You know, like in countries that aren't like Saudi Arabia, Muslims will still celebrate Christmas because it's another chance to just eat good food. Chill with your neighbors. The little dragon story faded into nothingness, and the world beyond the castle, only the evil dragon's tale endured. That was another bad ending, like when we became forgotten. That's not what I was... I'm saying more in the sense of that it's... I meant in an abstract sense, that you don't have to be a certain religion to celebrate related holidays. I wasn't speaking about you specifically. Who am I? Is this me? And it's, well, it's the exact same bad ending. So the story ended with the little dragon fading from sight, leaving nothing but the evil dragon's shadow in his place. So the story's over. Oh no, but that means Durin, same bad ending we got last time. What do we do now? And it's Alice again. Yeah, exactly. Let's get every bad ending. Well, I think it's also... Almost like you discovered another possible ending. Do not lose hope. You just need to keep searching, for there are possibilities that only you can bring to life. Flip back. You're not Christian? Are you Catholic instead? That was a joke. So we can't destroy this anymore, and once the little dragon kept moving, eventually he would be forgotten. So we can't destroy the heart, and even if we tried, it would cause Durin to disappear. We have to find another way. Fair. There was ink remaining after interaction. After running out of ink. How would we run out of ink? Interesting. No, but actually, how is it possible to run out of ink? Huh? I think the ink mechanic may not be working entirely as intended, because I think it's supposed to, or maybe they changed it, that you were supposed to actually lose ink from every path you picked, which would have meant losing some ink in the bad endings last time around. And Chibi Durin is right here. Hello there. There you are. Yappari koko ni itanda ne. Oh, hello there. Hey, it's Chibi Durin again. What are you doing? Hold up in here. Did they just say Chibirin? No, just little dragon. Chibiru, not Chibi Durin. Little dragon. I was worried I'd scare everyone off, so I've been hiding out here all this time. Just like before. You must be really nervous, huh? Hi, I guess I am a little nervous, but I'm also excited. What I will say is that... There's a big difference between American Protestantism and other brands of Christianity. Because, you know, fundamentalism, which is the primary mark of the most known American Protestantisms, is not something that really exists outside of America and maybe, like, Latin American countries that are basically cutouts for the USA. It's... Well, there's a big difference between modern religion, for lack of a better term, or some might say axial religion, versus pre-modern or pre-axial religion. Because there's a big difference between religion that tries to explain natural phenomena and religion that is meant to give answers to more ethical and moral questions. Because, you know, there's a big difference between, say, Roman, classical paganism, Greek and Roman religion versus most things past. Because axial/modern religion is really more similar to Greek and Roman philosophy. You know, there isn't a lot of similarity between, say, Christianity and classical paganism, but there's a lot of similarity between it and Stoicism or Neoplatonism, to the point there are a lot of people who argue that just Christianity is, at least the more intellectual types, are just Neoplatonism with a coat of paint. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm also excited. You know, in particular, the idea of, you know, Jesus being the Word / the Logos, which is, you know, became a Gnostic concept, which, that's the heavenly principles in this game. But that was a concept from Neoplatonism, and technically it's pronounced Stoicism, if you really want to be Greek about it. That was a recycled concept from there, though to be fair, technically it's, you know, Judaism around that time was also borrowing from Neoplatonism. There was a guy named Philo of Alexandria who was very famous for creating basically a sort of Jewish Neoplatonism. So you can argue about where that lineage is coming from. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm also excited. I'm going to get to stop the evil dragon, even become a human, and scare quotes. It's all thanks to that Clayman. He's the one who talked me into it. And once I'm a human, I'll be able to make loads of friends and do tons of important things. We'll make lots of friends, that's for sure, and go on many unforgettable adventures. So glad to hear it. The only thing is, the Clayman said becoming human isn't going to be easy, so I'm feeling a little anxious too. Well, this is literally Mini Durin before he turned into human Durin. This character does not exist anymore in that form at all. He's right about that. Even if he managed to become a human, there will always be tougher challenges on the road ahead. I think they are already. Really. But even so, your friends will be there to help you. Aww. Your gay dads. Oh, then I'm not afraid. Funny, isn't it? After talking to you, I'm not afraid anymore either. Well, I guess they're both fake dragons, right? I guess. Though, to be fair, Zhongli's origin is maybe a sun god. It's been a theory going around for a while. Well, Anuva's an actual dragon. Nuva only cares about sovereigns and the Archons. So are you ready now? Yep, I'm ready to become a human. Interesting. Optional. Oh, whether or not there is ink remaining. Okay. After interaction. Check out a few other spots. That goes straight to part 2, yeah. The clay figure found was none other than the evil dragon's heart itself. The creature had perished long ago, its heart was still there, pulsing away and growing warmer with every beat. Uh-oh. But it's not possible to actually run out of ink. Here, and the clay alchemist knew what it meant, that the evil dragon would return one day. This is a prophecy had foretold. Yet, guided by his mother's wisdom, he foresaw another fate. If only the alchemist could bestow this heart upon the evil little dragon, he might be reborn in the evil dragon's stead. Only then would the evil dragon's heart grow still, and the little one inherit its tail. At last, the little dragon accepted the evil dragon's heart. and a new life came into being. And the evil dragon's heart beat in his chest. The little dragon's soul guided him forward. Cute. Thus did the prophecy hold true even as fate had been rewritten. And so was the little dragon born anew. I do like typing. If I'm already talking, I can multitask that way. Told me what? Just rewrite the message and send it. You can hear the heart beating in the background, which is fun. And there we go. Finally, a happy ending. That must be the last step, right? Woohoo, we completed the story. And if we had... Interesting. After completing... Running out of ink. If there's ink remaining after action, you go to part 2. Talk to Albedo. The evil dragon's heart continued to beat as if waiting for the little dragon to accept it as its own. Looks like we have no choice but to get this done. Whatever happens next, Durin is going to need all of our help. Is everyone ready? There's no ink remaining. Go to the bad ending. We've run out of ink. Much for Albedo's plan. We have to find another way. But didn't we already try all the options? We'll just have to see if there's something we missed. And if you talk to the little dragon, you go to next part, ink or no ink. Interesting. But it doesn't seem as if we can actually run out of ink. Because it seems that... Again, they might have fixed it, or it might just be bugged right now. Choosing the bad endings does not actually expend ink. Well, it probably should be. The little dragon, his companions blank again. What's going on? Are we running out of ink? Once the ink runs out, is that the end of the story? I had a feeling this would happen. What's happening to the others? Now that the story's ink was spent, all that way ahead were blank pages. Second time reaching bad ending, Dodoko. Looks like you've discovered another possible ending. Do not lose hope. You just need to keep searching. There are possibilities that only you can bring to life. Yeah, and the whole dialogue about flipping back happens if we hadn't done that already last time. But we have done that already last time, so there you go. Hold the power back. All available options. But then why are we still here? Born anew, the little dragon set off once more, his story far from over. Huh, so that wasn't the end. What comes next might be the most crucial part of all, the real step. Saigo no ippo dayo. Huh, fate really is as devious as they say, then I say, show us what you've got. Replacing playable Albedo, Scar, and Durin with just the toy soldier cat and mini dragon forms. That would be cute. Oh, they're so serious all of a sudden. Gray again. Oh no. About 5 seconds of just sound effects before we get advanced. Durin, are you alright? The evil dragon's heart was now one with the little dragon, yet the dark power within it still lingered. I've never actually heard him. My precious. That wasn't nasally enough. My precious. It's... I think I told you before that back when I was in middle school, I was very germophobic, and someone accidentally spit on the big omnibus of the Lord of the Rings books I had received, so I never actually finished them, because I was too afraid to touch them. Okay. Then you do it. Take my place. Like Durin. Would the little dragon dare to hold this power back, or would he simply give in? What kind of question is that? Of course he's going to control it. What choice does he have? Time is running out, so would the little dragon dare to hold this power back, or would he simply give in? Oh, what's up with the narrator? Oh, make a decision quickly. Hold back the darkness or give in. Power back would he simply give in? Give in. Make a decision quickly. Let me see. We actually have enough ink to do it normally. Giving in or the timer runs out. Description missing. Not enough ink. Returning to the castle. All available options. Guess we could go to the bad ending, maybe. But we actually have enough ink. Because we didn't use the ink to do that. Okay. It's too late to run away. Now Simulanka gets the abyss, right? No, we can't go that far. Oop. Would he dare to hold this power back, or would he simply give in? It's supposed to be a breakable wall somewhere. Time to fall to evil. Oops. Well, it's... Giving in is just doing nothing. It's not something we actually select. There we go. Oops. Oops. Prophecy is destined to come true. I wasn't telling you to hurt yourself on purpose. Hello! We're just finishing up the Durin quest. The little dragon was at an impasse and the dark power within him surged like a tide. Unchecked, the darkness engulfed everything around it, including the little dragon's soul. Uh-oh. The little dragon's story faded into nothingness, and the world beyond the castle, only the evil dragon's tale endured. Oh, so you want makeup you can just leave on? You should just have it tattooed on. My grandmother on my mom's side some years back had her eyebrows laser removed and tattooed back on. That used to be a big thing in the later 20th century. Not really anymore. Is this me? I guess. And so the story ended with the little dragon fading from sight, leaving nothing but the evil dragon's shadow in his place. The story's over. Again. Oh no, but that means Durin. What do we do now? Dodoko, Dodoko. Oh, looks like you discovered another possible ending. Do not lose hope, you just need to keep searching, for there are possibilities that only you can bring to life. Okay. Understandable. That reminds me of back when I did theater in high school and had to do stage makeup. That was funny. So now... make a decision quickly. We actually have enough ink now, right? I will be totally honest. They're probably wearing makeup too, just more natural makeup. Most men do not, unless they're gay, do not have the ability to actually recognize whether or not a woman is wearing makeup. Hold back the darkness. Hold back the darkness. We actually have enough ink. The little dragon and his companions blank again. No, it's because after we do this, we're out of ink. We're at 0 now. It's impossible to have enough ink to do this without running out at the end. Oh, what's going on? Are we running out of ink? Once the ink runs out, is that the end of the story? So we need to find a way through without just using the ink. I had a feeling this would happen. And they disappeared. They're all storybook characters. It's just us. Now that the story's ink was spent, all that lay ahead were blank pages. You need to find an exception. Kuhaku. Dodoko, Dodoko. But those were our only options, right? Well. Oh, so you discovered another possible ending. Do not lose hope, you just need to keep searching, for there are possibilities that only you can bring to life. Also, only you can prevent wildfires. So. Herm. Flip back. What's going on here? Why isn't the story of wedding during just suppress the abyssal power? It keeps getting stuck. Yeah, and if you cross over to the... Return to the castle, you seem like you're torn about something. I just never thought crossing over to a new world would create so much trouble. All I wanted was to make some friends, but we already tried returning to the castle yesterday, so we don't get that dialogue option. I'm starting to think I kind of miss being in Simulanka. You might look back on it with fondness, but if I were you, I wouldn't miss it. Why? Sometimes moving on with your life comes at a cost, but that's better than going nowhere at all. You don't have to worry, Durin. No matter what problem you face, there will always be a solution. Okay, sometimes I wish I could just go back and see it again. And then the Durin going back to sleep continues as it did the last time. Okay. To attack. See this here, and that's the end of it. Charge it up. We'll get a costume at the end of this, that's right. Did blank out there. Okay. I mean, what you have to understand is that beauty is their equivalent of strength. That's why that, you know, that Key Sisters manhwa, you know, the queen never cry, and the baby just makes a very stern face. It's like the girl equivalent of like JoJo or Baki. That's the equivalent of being really, really buff for a guy. And everyone likes feeling powerful. Generally. What's going on here? Why isn't the story letting Durin just suppress the abyssal power? Keeps getting stuck. More sound effect. Are you going to disagree that beauty is power and that you like feeling powerful? It seems the act of suppressing the power counts as an event in the story. In other words, we need ink to write it in. And then we're out of ink if we try that. So what now? Did we use too much earlier? No, this is as many as we could possibly have. I guess she's saying you need to try using mascara for that then. How are we supposed to write a happy ending with only this much left? It's possible, it's just not time for the story to end. To break out of the plot. I think we can shutter this. But... oh, well, this is Durin's story. As long as he's alive and well, why should it end? If there really is such a direct correlation between the story and his fate, I may have a potential hypothesis. Durin was and still is in essence a storybook character written into being by M. From the moment he was born, he has always dwelt within her story. He needs to break out of the story. And I suspect that has remained the case even after his arrival into that. Reviving Durin in the evil dragon's place was an act of grafting this Durin's story onto the latter's fate. In essence, that is how his fate was rewritten. But there is a fundamental difference between a being's story and its fate. As Barbaloth reminded us, the fate of every living being in Tibet has been woven into the fabric of time. Its most natural path, therefore, is to proceed along its given track. But Durin's story, on the other hand, needs an author to continue writing it. It's constellations. As Durin's connection to this world wore thin, not only have people started to forget him, he started to lose control of the abyssal power within. It's to start writing his story. In other words, his story can't continue because the author's ink is drying up. That's what it seems like to me. It would seem the little dragon made a group of fine friends indeed. Save it, the question is, are you here to help him or stand in his way? This is as far as the story can go. What path will you choose? Aye, if the story ends now, Durin will just vanish, even if it's a good ending. I suppose the final decision is up to me. It's hard to believe I never actually left my mother's story. That's true, but I'd like to go there and see for myself. By there, I take it you mean the blank pages of the unwritten chapter instead, in head. The rest is still unwritten, but we still don't even know how Alice's magic works. Does she? Do the authors? Durin belongs inside the story, then going outside of it is some unwritten part. Isn't that too risky? I'm not afraid. And go for it. We'll be with you all the way. I wonder to what extent this is about sort of breaking constellations, the whole Loom of Fate stuff. So be it, whatever obstacles stand in your way, we'll tear them down together. Aww. Second that, it seems this is one answer you need to go seize for yourself. Sword time. Okay. Break through the boundary of the tale. Let's go poke around a little bit more. And yep, that is still where we're stopped. As per usual, this is R3, C3. See this here, and... Where's it gonna stop us going this way? The golden path, it... surprisingly far, but you can see the stairway just stops entirely. So yeah, it's not really an option. All these books together. They did a very cool job with the terrain here, though some of it, I believe, is being reused from the Hexenzirkel weekly boss. Last time, it was reused from Matima Forest, primarily. And then others have used Simulanka. It's great. Facing that invisible wall, it was as if the little dragon was staring at the uncrossable edge of existence itself. And all of a sudden began to fracture as if struck by some transcendent will. Who's William? Charge attack? It's just getting a bit more broken. Please don't die, Boa. We'd miss you, Boa. And it's over. Got it? Keep going. And I don't imagine we would have been able to do that before. Okay. Head. Gotta keep going. Walking slow. Uh-oh. That's not good. Ahead lies only a storyless void. My consciousness is slipping away. Keep going, Durin. A pure soul is your essence and not an empty void. I feel so weak. Stand tall, Durin. You are strong. You are not some amorphous idea, and the body I made for you is flesh and bone. Am I truly alive? Alive. On ground again. Yes, Durin, but you must keep going. You're alive as real as I am. Oh. Reclaim your true self. I can't feel a connection. For the objective in this area. We're not alone in this world, Durin. At the very least, you have me. Wow. I can't remember anything. Who am I? You're Durin. Look at the title of that text box. Your name is Durin. There are many who still remember it. Can't jump right now, or sprint, or attack, or... My name is Durin. You're taking too long. Dragonspine. Come on, Durin, run. In this world, fate waits for no one. But fate's a different game. Okay. Now we can run. Not sprint, but wait, where am I meant to go? What am I supposed to do? I'll make your wish come true, Durin. What wish is that? My wish. My wish is to climb upstairs. How far away can we get from these stairs before they stop us? Pretty far. Is this another bad ending? I think this is as far as we can go. Oh. Oh, wait. They are still getting smaller. Are they? Did I just go up a slope? This is probably as far away as we can get. Yeah, they're not getting any smaller anymore. That was funny. Other bad ending. And Durin said, you know what? I'm not gonna be a real boy. I'm just gonna sit in the white void forever. Like that one episode of SpongeBob. Some might prefer that. Okay. But yeah, since we went away, we can't actually sprint, so it's taking an eternity to have to get back. Oops. Yeah, completely unforced error. I don't think it's me who's unusually obsessed with SpongeBob. I think it's you who's unusually... Your story's not over yet. Unusually ambivalent. You're a Philistine. Early SpongeBob is high art. High ball art. Magic known as storytelling. Your story's not over yet. Oh, and we're back in the little banquet. The chibi is gone. Silence, I have nothing to say about my proposal. A proposal? Polyamorous gay marriage. Woker than expected. Let me get this straight. You want to graft your story onto this unfinished thread of fate. And in doing so, not only rewrite that fate, but allow the story to live on. Okay. A story. Fate and stories. You could have some tea, but that's drinking, not eating. Quite the brilliant idea. Still, the story's survival depends entirely on whether the author keeps writing. Exactly, and the moment foretold by the prophecy is still centuries away. Again, it is very interesting how Alice, Octavia, Reindottir, and Barbaroth are all, and Nicole, are all explicitly or at least probably immortal, and then you've got, again, Reindottir and Ivanovna, who are all just normal. But again, the fact that Alice is obviously at least 500 years old, probably older because there's some mention her in Conria. Lime Sodbala. I see, naruhodo. I thought my own ignorance might be the problem, that I'd asked more of the noble science of alchemy than it could ever deliver. Problem is just, you're going to have to wait. It's going to outlive you. So is Durin immortal? Probably, as in the new one. Or that I failed to discern the heavenly signs and grasp the secret truth underlying the prophecy. Little did I imagine that time itself would prove to be the greatest hurdle of all. She's got a nice hat. Well, my friend, this has been a most intriguing experiment, and from an academic perspective at least, I don't think it was a bad proposal. Someday the prophecy will come to pass, remember, my friend, much like the stars themselves. There will always be something that transcends the test of time. Easy for an immortal to say. Thank you, everyone. You've helped me so much already, but Alice, I still have one final favor to ask of you. When, if ever, are we getting Marble off? Will you unmute your magic one last time, just enough for me to keep this story alive until the prophecy is fulfilled? Which is to keep Simulanka going, presumably, for the next 500 years. Or so. You mean you want me to, extend your lifespan? No, just Simulanka. No, not in that sense. As Reindottir once told me, the laws governing life and death are among the most unyielding in this world. I'm well aware of that. Okay, but she's literally the shade of life now. She ate Nabarius, and that happened... Did that happen before or after this? We don't really have a timeline on that. It'd be really fun if it was like, oh yeah, now I have power over life and death. Sorry, girls, I'm not making you immortal, though. Sorry. Whether it lasts a day or an age, the span of one's life is determined by fate alone. If I tried to breach that law by force, I'm afraid I would lose what makes me human. Erosion. This is not a path I want to go down. If I'm to die, then I shall die a human. So what is it that you want me to do? I would like you to send this pen of mine into the future. I see, then perhaps there really is a way I can help. By just holding on to it for the next 500 years. I could create a kind of story magic to take over the writing once you're gone. She is the goddess of creation of Simulanka. But for it to work, you would need to provide enough of your own words for it to learn from. Holy crap, they added Israel GPT to this game. How much? Oh, an immense amount, so much in fact that you have to spend the rest of your life writing. And then, I'm sorry to say, it would not last forever. Maybe, we'll see. It's kind of a coin flip whether it helps or hurts. No matter how much you write, there is a limit to the number of words you can leave behind, but the world itself will never stop changing. What if you just blew up the world, though? Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'm the Bolek. Someday, perhaps even your entire corpus will not be enough for the magic to continue describing this world, and when that happens, the story will end. So presumably, okay, the reason that Chibi Durin was able to show up in this area, to the extent that this even reflects real events, was because they were meeting inside Simulanka. That's interesting. Maybe. Still, it's worth a try. I would like you to send this pen of mine into the future. So I guess they were on Pen Island then. That little floating island. Coffin. Oh, my dear Anya, even after all this time, you're still inside. Look at you. Should be enjoying your old age in peace and quiet, especially now that things are finally returned to normal after that terrible calamity. Oh, interesting. So, Chibi Durin was created before the Calamity. That is really weird. So that would mean that would be before normal Durin went and rampaged around. So what fate would there have been to change? Was it Barboth being like, oh yeah, Rhindaughter, that dragon you made, he's gonna just totally ruin stuff. Sorry. Though in that case, it was the Calamity then, presumably, that Rhindaughter meeting was before the Calamity. So how long was Rhindaughter around even before the Cataclysm? Then? You know, because you would kind of think, I kind of thought it was only when she got her sinner power that she became immortal. That may not be the case. Once we have Simulanka, things will only get more complicated. If the stories continue, there needs to be more material for the magic to draw upon. Coughs. I'll just have to skip over some of the less important details. Coughing. She sounds marginally older, but mostly just sicker. Anya, why do you insist on sending him out of the storybook world? Why must you face his fate into that? Why not just let him remain within the story? With my magic, even Fate's curse could be undone, and he could live happily ever after. Stekina ending. A wonderful ending. Well, I suppose in fairy tales all it takes is a heartfelt wish. Even a wooden puppet can turn himself into a real boy, of happily ever after. Pinocchio mentioned. That's just how fairy tales end, isn't it? But have you ever wondered what happens to the main character after the ever after? A bunch of YouTube songs. That's after ever after. That was big in the early 2010s. I never actually listened to them. But both theater kids and Boy Scouts, though to be fair, there was overlap, liked that for some reason. Tell me, in your Alice, in your eyes, what would be a writer's greatest regret? Leaving a story unfinished. Well, that's what we thought at the start when that question was posed, but to leave a story without an ending, it's not going to be that, is it? Not a bad answer. It's true many writers come to consider that their greatest regret, but I see things differently. With a bad ending? My greatest regret is that every story I write has to come to an end in the first place. Guys, it's Stephen King. Anya. No matter how brilliantly a character shines, the moment their story ends, their potential is lost forever. And that's why God said, let there be live service games. That may have been the devil, actually, but maybe you could be Gnostic and it's just both. This game is pretty Gnostic. For them, the story itself becomes an inescapable fate. To escape the story. But what if instead I could place my pen in their hand and let them continue the story themselves? I think this is probably Omniscient Reader's viewpoint. I didn't read it. You mean? You said it yourself, I can only leave so many words behind, even if they're magic. The idea that I keep the story going until the prophecy comes to pass. It's wishful thinking at best. So is it going to be a Sacred Sakura situation where the pen is sent back into the past and Durin retroactively wrote his way 500 years forward, or... But I found a way to use her magic to transform some of my finished stories into a special kind of ink. So that's the ink gauge we had before. This ink is a magical medium he can use to complete the story the way he wants to.
物語を書き続ける力をあの子に与えてあげればいいんだ。
There you go. This ink is a magical medium he can use to complete the story the way he wants to. I wasn't trying to be good at it. You need a special microphone for it anyway. For what is storytelling but another kind of magic, and if he can experience the whole tale himself while leaving behind his own wishes and aspirations.
その中で何度も自分の願いを残せたなら
Let me see. Even once he reaches the chapter where I stopped, he'll still be able to carry the story forward on his own. Frankly, male voices aren't just suited for it. I mean, frankly, in most cases, if my mother is any sign, that might say something about her. They still would prefer listen to a woman's voice unless they're in, like, the 99th percentile of heterosexuality, for better or worse. Even once he reaches the chapter where I stopped, he'll still be able to carry the story forward on his own. Or, like, guys who are, like, really, really gay. I mean, like, no hate to them. No hate at all. I mean, I like the sound of my own voice, so what does that say about me? It means I should travel into a mirror world and kiss my clone. I don't need to continue down this line of thought. People into that can go F themselves. I'm sure you heard that joke before. It's such an overused joke, but it's so good. Yeah. And so by leaving him this ink, I can entrust him with the responsibility of writing his own story. A character with the power to write their own story. That way he'll finally be free from the cage that is my pen. Like anyone else living in the real world, he can go on to create a life of his own. If I died on stream, I just hope you would as long as you make sure to clip it. And you no longer need to worry about the constraints of my magic. What a brilliant idea, Anya. But there are still risks. Thank you. It's more like Pokemon Rivals. Like Silver from Pokemon. The mean one. Especially since Silver is Giovanni's son. So Italian. There are still risks. First of all, once he arrives into that, after all, entirely and the story he left in to maintain his connection to that world. So then who are you? If I'm the Pokemon rival, what Pokemon protagonist are you? Pokemon. As you gradually hand over creative control, that connection will grow weaker. At some point, he might lose it altogether. But at the same time, he'll also have the chance to forge that connection for himself. Oh, and it's the Durin official Kaya Kui showing up in last part of the quest. The one from, well, the third part. Did on Friday. Well, the issue is, the Spetha taps into too many of Tevat's core secrets. Any overt hints you try to leave will be erased in no time. Which is again, that Tevat is a computer and can be theoretically rewritten. In fact, it'd be hard for you to leave anything at all to guide them. So then she'll do it. Or, we still have the story itself, though. I can use that to show them the way. Well, I can't be Silver, because I'm not Italian. Yeah, so you don't want to be Lyra, yeah, the brown Twin Tails one. You want to be Crystal, the one with the weird angular pigtails and the blue hair. Okay. I would have a better team than that. Type Null and Savali are just garbage. I'm just trying to think. Who is the strongest regular rival? This entirely possibly burns through all your ink, never reaches the chapter you had in mind. Stuck running the chapters of his past. You're gonna make me suffer? How? Despite all that, I have work tomorrow. I have overtime, mandatory overtime tomorrow. You can't make things worse than they already are. I still believe in what this child can become. His hopes and wishes can be as ink, so they won't be trapped by time running dry. Oh, what the rider you are on, yeah? Your imagination never ceases to amaze. Romantic. And you do know how much of a happy ending, huh? You shall have my help, my dear. Suck what? Thank you, my friend. Yeah, go ahead, explain that. Explain what that meant. Well then, my child, you understand what you must do. Start writing your own story. Yes, I think I do. It's my turn to keep the story alive. Then what's holding you back? Faith. What will become of you after I take up this pen? It takes a village to raise a child. I will fade away, and there will no longer be a reason for me to go on existing. I mean, this is just a Dotiko fake projection anyway. My child, I or your mother should say passed away long ago. The voice you're hearing is nothing but a magical echo that has now fulfilled its purpose. Do you feel so reluctant to let me go? Exactly. Go ahead and buy your dumplings. Exactly, this is fake, of course. As if it wasn't obvious. I know my mother died long ago. You killed her. Sudden plot twist. Well, it's just when you lose your mom too soon, it's hard to tell yourself away from the stories she used to read. Guess it's a silly way of pretending she's still here by your side. Durin. But after coming to this world and traveling it with my friends, facing all kinds of enemies together, when you're simultaneously 500 years old and 6 months old, I suddenly realized I couldn't just sit around listening to my mother's stories, because I'd found a new purpose in life. What kind of dumplings? Maybe this is just what growing up feels like. With all my new friends waiting, I guess it's time I finally set aside my mother's story. Ready to grow up now, Mom. I'm becoming an adult. That's what he said in the Japanese. Otona ni naru yo. Then take this, a gift I should have given you a long time ago. I'm sorry, Bala. You witnessed the story from the very beginning, made your wishes, offered your blessings, and wrote your choices into its pages. From here on out, this pen is yours. Now I ask of you, the other pillar of this story is both its reader and its witness. Will you turn the page so the next chapter can begin? Turn the page. The Bob Seger version or the Metallica cover? It's a good song. A lot of people are talking about turn the page, the next chapter can begin. Fate? That's still a different game. Why is he naked? Suddenly, without warning, the powers of darkness struck. The question was, could the little dragon prevail? Alas, it was here that the story witch's tale had to end. But Durin's tale, on the other hand, had only just begun, and now he's narrating it himself. Stepping into his mother's memories, he picked up her pen. And so the story that was ending began anew. A lot of people are talking about what this quest sort of clarifies about the Traveler's role is, or kind of will be. He had made up his mind to challenge the fate that barred the way ahead. The sense that, the witness of the world, which kind of ties into the end of the Asda quest, Zhonggui's second story quest, immune to erosion. Which was more or less foreshadowing the immunity to Hexenzirkel. Looks like this is the final step. Don't you start with that. No fairy tale allowed. Chance to strike back at fate. Now that's not something that comes knocking every day. If the main character of Fairy Tail is a book, then I'm Qin Shi Huang. Oh, and it's, don't get it, Durin, it's the toy dragon again. The big one. I cannot die, I will be reborn and bring calamity to all. It has been decreed by fate itself. So are they canon, or does it even matter? No, that fate no longer defines me. In the end, only my story shall endure. There's no body behind that. I mean, I don't know. It's not the kind of thing I really investigate. Defeat fate, a different outcome of the prophecy. Trial Durin. Oh, and it's all these dudes. Oh well. Boom. Oh, and hand crush. And oh, I thought that we might be able to have them destroy themselves. That is not the case. How unfortunate. Well, alright. Boom. Okay. We have no confusion or anything. It's quite sad. Okay. Oh, you have your giant block breath. Okay. Interesting. Bit of an abyssal tinge to it. No dodging this one. Here, I'll help lift you up. Now the floor is evil. What is this? Dvalin fight? Okay. How engaging. It's interesting seeing him create that wind current. Attack the quill with elemental skill or elemental burst to charge it up. Only my story shall endure. And oh, it sends it back at him. Okay. Interesting. So I have to do that a few times. Alright. Boom. Boom. It's just a wave fight, so whatever. Boom. Boom, boom. Overloaded. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. Just run all the way to the other side. So there's nowhere to hide here. I'll cover for you. It's Albedo pattern shield. This thing is new. Now you can make a updraft in the original Scarify. I wonder if that's a similar one. I should check that, actually. There we go. This time the light prevails. Okay. ... He fell down. It is also kind of similar to Devon. Okay. I didn't know the fairy tale guy made anything else. Thought he just spent 20 years on just that. Thank you, Mom. Okasan. And so it was that Durin defeated the darkness and rewrote his fate. But his story is far from over. A rave master. Did they dance? Wait. Difficulties in serialization. Oh, it was adapted into an anime by Studio Dean, which also made the first Fate show. The idea of traveling around the world. Story is far from over. Far from ball over. But his story is far from over. Okay. Back on the snowy mountain. Revealed that we were always on the snowy mountain, and while we were in the story, we actually just froze to death. Bad ending. Is everyone okay? We're fine, thanks, and hey, we all saw how you fought back there. That was awesome. That new outfit looks a lot more free. And as you can see, the black scales have partially broken away. Now you have more purple in his horns, and his heart is glowing. You can see a little star here. I have to admit, I do feel like something in me has changed. His tail, although we can't really see it right now, is also a bit more purple than black now. I owe you all so much. Without your help, I don't know if I could ever have ever made it this far. It's a shame I could only help out from the sidelines. Like I said before, it's not every day you have to put fate in its place. A shield and an updraft. Again, it's always interesting to see that visions give more abilities and are more flexible than just the playable kits we see. Because Albedo cannot just make a force field. Scar cannot make an updraft. Well, I mean, they can, just not as part of their playable kit. Because they did it. We just can't do that manually ourselves. Well, I'm sure you'll hear it someday. Hear it. That's an interesting... I think that's probably a mistranslation. Basically saying that one day that chance will come to you. Hear what? Yeah, sort of. That they just heard the voice then, because, you know, kite could be, you know, come. It could also be listen or hear. So, but hear what? A chance to strike back at fate knocking at your door. Is that like a sun-like pun? What did he say? Hey, yeah, maybe someday. Well, actually, that might have been a bit of a pun, though. Want me to just check one thing? Abyssal power subsided, yeah. Yes, the abyssal power within you is stabilized again. Those strange symptoms you were experiencing seem to have completely disappeared. Thank goodness, we did it. Yataze. Oh, I wonder what it means, though. Aside from the principles of alchemy, what other law of this world governs his being? Again, it's... Yep, you can see this glow now. Fairy tale mode. Again, the fact of Irminsul. Constellations, and, you know, it's one slot per Durin. He had to take the other Durin's spot. Look, it all turned out fine, so just leave it at that now that this one's out of danger. Time for me to get out of here. Go back to Notcry for the Dottore fight in 2 weeks. See ya. Moving so soon, don't humans usually throw a party after something like this? A party? Do I look like that kind of guy? That kind of hat guy? You should get a big hat. A big ball of hat. Yeah, anyway, come find me next time you're in trouble. That's what friends are for, right? Some people never change. Soon. Outsourced fairy tale. So that when he dies, they can pick up their own story, like Durin. In a way, though, he is right. This is Durin's moment to celebrate, not the time for academic discussions. I don't blame you for asking, and honestly, I'd be perfectly happy to talk about it. Just I wouldn't even know where to start. It's alright, I'm sure we'll get a chance at some point. After all, your story's only just begun. Mada mada. Alright then, Traveler and Paimon will part ways here. Given the extraordinary nature of the things we witnessed today, I need to make sure it's all recorded properly. It'd go in a book. Okay, see ya. More Alice being weird. A day ending in Y. So it's party time next. Ah. Book is open again. Dodoko, Dodoko. Not this bitch. Congratulations on completing your mission. Now then, as per agreement, it's about time you returned that book. Okay. She must have known the moment we finished, just like she said she would. Okay, toward the distant horizon. And again, it's a little more purple here, a little more purple on the tail, and now his heart is glowing. There we go. And it does not automatically switch us. Interesting. See, this tail's a bit more scaly, horn's a bit more scaly. Heart is not glowing. You can see you have these bars over them. Right. Let's go switch that now, actually. Here from the stars, Durin's... Alright. Toward the distant horizon, Durin's outfit. Well, spikier in the heart, too. See a bit of a whitish yellow glow on some of the crystals, too. It's subtle. These ones as well. Durin's original outfit has received a new lease of life now that he's taken up his mother's pen. Ultimately, he bid farewell to the past once painted by its previous owner. And the lock on his heart faded away. Exactly, you see. The lock. No longer here. The distant horizon is which now points to begin the direction which his story continues to unfold. What do you suppose would be a writer's greatest regret? To leave a story without an ending? Such was Alice's reply, as one who had been touched by such regret all too often in her sojourns across many worlds, like Earth. An author who had toiled for decades might suddenly pass away due to acute illness, leaving epic tales of sword and sorcery frozen before the final battle. They're talking about George R. R. Martin. Perhaps a brilliantly gifted author, their time limited by some malady, may find themselves never able to fully present their grand imagined world to their readers. Alice, who loved reading, was deeply troubled by this and couldn't help but sigh. My greatest regret is that every story I write has to come to an end in the first place. So the answer that Anya Marie Andersdottir, one who had authored many a fairy tale, gave. Glanced back at the bookshelf where many characters born from her pen slumbered between the pages. Some were clever or brave, winning the hearts of many readers with their outstanding performances. No matter how brilliantly a character shines, the moment their story ends, their potential is lost forever. For them, the story itself becomes an inescapable fate. Looking at the books now covered in a thin layer of dust from being sealed away for so long, Alice understood her friend's regret. Anya, but what if instead I could place my pen in their hand and let them continue the story themselves? Anya's gaze returned to the manuscript. The last story she would leave behind, and the most special. Other stories would eventually form part of the past, but the story could have a future. Alice quickly understood that this was her friend's final wish. What the writer you are, Anya. Imagination never ceases to amaze. You do know how much I love a happy ending. You shall have my help, my dear. Okay. Switched our Durin. And do we have that? Is there a voice line there for that, or that we can see? To complete this. No. Well, there you go. That's fine. We have our more fairy tale-ish Durin then. That's exciting. Oh, okay. I still need to do wigglies. That's right. Interesting. I could do that. Let's return this book first, and that'll put us right there. Try using Venti. Alice in the Overworld. Uh-oh. Oh, my writer and witness. It's been quite the journey, hasn't it? And Durin being the writer now. You had special plans for the traveler from the start, didn't you? Hate her. Oh, but of course that goes without saying. For a story to live on, it needs both a writer and a reader. Only then can my magic take effect. And that pyro vision. This very elf-like smile. The ears and proportions. Vanny's here. What are you doing? The evil and ominous Venti. Chose the traveler as the witness because of the special nature of who he is. It's not easy finding someone with that kind of background, you know. For a moment I even considered taking the role myself. Ha ha ha. You were the only one who understood what was going on. Because of course, presumably the fact that we don't have to worry about Irminsul. At least it made for an interesting story, right? Yeah, what are you doing here, Kinyo Yaro? Tone deaf bard. With the Hexenzirkel carrying out such a risky experiment in Mondstadt, didn't cross your minds that the Animo Archon might be slightly curious. In what experiment? Creating Durin, or? Interesting. Sorry for the trouble, Lord Barbados. Barubatos-sama. Think nothing of it. I dare say the Animo Archon quite enjoyed coming along for the ride. Now then, as agreed, let us see the fruits of your labor. Here, please take a look. In the book. Well, 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 somehow, despite all my careful planning, it still turned out to be full of surprises. Her eunuch. Girl does something sociopathic, her gaze, honestly, work. It never even crossed my mind that Rendottir's child would be capable of handling that kind of alchemy in her stead. When he asked for help with the materials at Oma, I nearly couldn't believe it. Albedo-chan. If only the others were here too, we could all celebrate together. Yeah, because when Durin, Kui, Fischl, and Kaya were all together, that was... You know, 3 Hex characters, and then just the evil and ominous Kaya. I'm right here, you know, the only one who hasn't responded is one busy stuffing her face over there. Why are you a teacup again? How's that you, Barble? They'll wait to the party, don't you think? Come here, child, let me take a closer look at you. Creepy. Alright, Aunt Searwitch, here I am. Oba-san. Japanese, they just said aunt. Just as I thought, this child's fate does not appear among the stars, and he has accomplished what almost no one before her could. Changing Irminsul. Which again, that ties into, I imagine, the whole deal with the Archon quest this time about changing fate with the reflections, the old Conria shadows, I mean, Hyperborea shadows, and then of course Dottore adding himself into the past. The idea of a 4th moon. What does that mean? Child, all you need to know is that you're very lucky indeed. Oh. So what does it mean? The teacup falls silent. Perhaps the mage's thoughts have already drifted elsewhere. Just like how she was in the story, huh? More ... Tell me, little Durin, Durin-chan. What will you do next? I, for one, cannot wait to see how your story unfolds. Yeah, thanks to your help, Durin has finally completed the Trials of Fate. Now it's time to return the book to Alice. Yeah. Trials prepared by fate. Well, there's so much I want to do. I'm not even sure where to begin. Okay. How about settle your most recent regret? Oh? Not so fast, tone-deaf bard. What exactly did you just tell Durin to do? To make a long overdue wish come true. And what wish is that? Thank you once again, Alice, the vanishing magical echo. Alice. How much time do you have left? I believe these should be my final moments, just enough time to say goodbye to my dearest friend. This feels like having to say our final goodbyes all over again. I don't like it, not one bit. I don't know how to respond to that. Strange you're always such a cheerful figure in my stories. I've been dubbed you the Merry Witch, you know. So again, the Alice we saw in the book was not Alice herself, but the idea of Alice. Oh please, you know full well it was your stories that first taught me what true pain and sadness felt like. Aside from saying goodbye to me, shouldn't you also leave a few words for the child? Since the book will be his to continue, why don't you write him a little parting note? There's no need, his mother already did that long ago, because that's not her, yeah. The echo. All that remains is for me to convey it on her behalf. Oh. Babbleth. Watch out, these may be the last words I get to leave you. Paper clips in her hair, because it's paper. But we saw the characters in my stories as my children. Loving each of them, one of them just like a mother would. It's Simulanka. That you are the most extraordinary of them all. Probably the cutest. Who alone can define the fate of this world. Oh, write the perfect ending to my story. You alone shall leave these pages. For a future I will not see. So I say to you, fly, my sweet child. Wagakoyo. It's like a forest breeze yearns for the open sky. Head into the unknown and seek an adventure to call your own. Yeah, he can't actually fly though. Meet a dragon run as 1,000 jewels dance in the air together. On stack. Exactly. Dragonspine. You are not alone, for this world has accepted your place in it. Albedo. Sumeru. Do not lose heart, you still have many wishes left to fulfill. She's turning into paper! Uh-oh. A long tale awaits you, my love. Its songs and flowers will be the ink that fills its pages. Take my pen and use it to continue your story. Can't fly. Can't actually fly. Bleh. Magic note is storytelling quest completed. Tale of Durin. This is the Tale of Durin. It's right here, and it's more purple now, too. Okay. Fairy tales often end on a good note. Blessings will be offered and curses will be broken. Make a sincere wish and it will come true. Wield your sword with courage and every foe shall fall. In the end they lived happily ever after. Then what some readers can't help but ask. As a character born from the pages of a story, Durin sometimes finds himself facing that very question. The story seems to reach a happy ending in Simulanka. He never knows where to start when trying to explain what happened afterward. If only he had his mother's magical touch with words, perhaps then he could turn those experiences to another enchanting story of his own. Cool. A few more of those. Need those for Iliga coming patch. I really do wonder who we'd want to pick up. I could be funny and get C2 Wander. That would be pointless. None of these are especially good. Neela's is okay because it gives her 100% uptime on her E-Circle, but honestly, the only one I can really think of right now would probably be Albedo because he's actually good. Khaleesi one is not bad, but we don't have quill. We can't redeem that. I'll only be able to do this next patch anyway, so depending on when we find out about the apparent Shion faction buffs and what Shaoxi one is going to do, I might pick that. Honestly. But nothing. That's done soon. We got that. Got that. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Okay. Let's talk to them real quick, and we can just go into the chess game if we want. Alice mentioned, I hate you. You're evil. Okay. No. No. There you go, your very own copy of the book. We wouldn't want one of the story's key witnesses to leave empty-handed now, would we? Of course, this copy isn't magical in the same way, but rest assured, all the twists and turns are still there. Okay. And you! And so they flew together, Durin devolved over the skies of Mondstadt. Oh, so in that cutscene, that was presumably them actually taking off together. Who'd have found such words could have ever described a happy ending, huh? Suteki na monogatari. Let's check inside that book. There we go. Tale of Durin, the magic book left by M, must ultimately be handed over to Durin, allowing him to continue writing the story. Alice created a replica of it and gifted it to you. After all, as a witness to this tale, you deserve a keepsake. Of course, this replica lacks any magical properties, but it for sure preserves all the twists and turns. Oh wow. Prophecy, possibility, revelation, solution, and fate. Interesting. That's fun and all. Got our Tale of Durin. Which just lets you repeat some of these cutscenes, but that's all. Okay. And, yeah, but we can't go back into these story portions. Let's see. The choices that we made, I believe, through the quest are now finalized here. The wiki does not have much about this. Okay. 邪悪な錬金術によって生まれたもので、その魂自体は無知な物語を魔法で竜の卵を宮殿から摘み取り、孵化を待つ魔法使いは魔法使いは竜の子を抱きしめる。Oh no, no, it's shortened. Okay. That's alright then. Interesting. So in that case, let's just go and do comms to clear things out with our brand new Durin. Awesome. So next weekend I will try to clear out a good amount of this place. Clear out most of what's left. We'll see. Ah. But he's different now. Ever so slightly. And you wouldn't really be able to tell unless you were actively looking and knew what to look for. But hey, we did the quest. Awesome. So, yeah, there we go. Now... And again, some of it is from, you know, investment in multiple senses, but... he is quite strong and fun to use. It is funny that despite Bennett not being a Hex character, it's a lot out of Bennett and being able to, again, you know, infuse and deal pyro damage on field while also getting the benefit of Bennett's burst for his own infusion, which otherwise does not happen. Hello. No, what? Just overloaded me. Well, whatever. Cool. Burning. That should be... I didn't drop much, but you're on top of there. Okay. Oh yeah, we have this big canopy over the library now since we leveled the meeting point up, which did show up in the last Archon quest. It was kind of meaningfully relevant. Kind of. Okay. Ochre. Poker. Let's finish this. Is there anything in particular you want to see? Otherwise, I'm just gonna finish these out and do my laundry and stuff. I'm a little sleepy. Just a little bit. You know how it is. Again, you've got some of those moss balls over there. I want to see what that moss ball is. Because the ones up top are related to the big moss ball that sends us into the weird alternate dimension. But this one is not that. This is different. So, I guess we'll see. I'm by the teleport waypoint down there. You know what? I guess we can also just pick up this. That's future Bala's Probabiliblum. And it... Is there a way we were supposed to get there other than just gliding down? I don't see any launching plants or anything. It probably is just that then. And it's been 5 billion years. Let's pick this up already. Well, 4 months. It's more or less. So... Oh, did you see that apparently Varka's going to be a dual wielder? With a claymore and a greatsword. I mean, claymore and a normal sword. Which is pretty cool. Makes me happy. Did we discuss that already? I think we might have. Okay. Okay. So if we went in here, we'd have to transform using a plant, but let's just try this real quick. If we go into this moss ball. Yeah. Over here. Huh? Maybe it's nothing. Maybe. Or at least... See this mist. But no, really, what's going on with this moss ball? That is kind of strange. Well, okay. The ones actually up top... It's been a while since I actually used them. I don't quite remember how they work. So it... Again, the giant ball is over there. Well, they are supposed to sort of automatically lock on if we're in the right spot, but... Well, okay. Problem for future me. Oh, only if there's one that's, you know, already right there are we able to... Yeah, transform into it and then... Okay. Well, alright. That's fine. We'll just switch the polarity. Because otherwise we'll get expelled. Okay. I guess it's kind of just nothing. It is interesting that we can revisit this spot. We just have to reopen it every time. You would kind of think it would be a one-time only deal. Maybe. Throw the dewdrops onto the viridescent moss ball. Thought it was the viridescent venerer. Well, that's different. Venerer just means hunter, by the way. Viridescent Venerer just means green hunter, just in a fancier way. It's funny, honestly. Okay. All in the same spot, and yeah, we got sucked into the moon rock. As it is just another ancient moon fragment, I guess, and I guess we'll never know what this big blob is. That's fine. Did this some time ago. Yeah, this is terrain. It can be traversed. Oh, interesting. And it is climbable. I never thought to test that, but actually, this portion gets very slippery. Okay. I am sure if it... Though, of course, primarily using, I imagine... No, this is climbable. Geo-Traveler, Zhongli. No, it is just climbable. Holy crap. Though again, I don't imagine there's anything actually of note up top here, but they will let you go here. But again, it's just this weird pocket dimension inside that moon fragment. Again, though, it's presumably related to... Maybe this is the moon gate. Maybe this is where Columbine and Rarrier are. Or at least somewhere similar. Watch out, don't go near there. Okay, so eventually you just get voided out. That makes sense. Okay, that's fine. And this is still technically part of Lempo Isle in terms of map segment. In the same way that the Book of Revealing back in Fontaine is technically part of... Oh, goodness. Oh, Barrel region. That's the Elenos one. And we just talked to them to leave. That was fun and all, I guess. So I think that'll be everything for today, boy. It was nice and all, but I need to get to sleep early. And things like that. So yeah. Sayonara, boy. Oh wait, but we actually have a new avatar, a new Bolavatar, which is... Oh, I didn't notice that. He actually... Also, you can see, very, very subtly, I believe, his face is a little more to the right of the frame. It's not actually centered in the same way. I didn't notice he has this little crown of 3 scales in the middle. Okay. Interesting. That's not on the base form. I guess so the scales from the tail and his horns have moved to his forehead. Good for him, I guess. Yeah. Sayonara, Sayonara, boa.